Hello there, second graders. It's Monday, March 23rd. And for the chapter read aloud today, I'd like to introduce you to a couple special guests. This is Chompers, and this is Simba, or there's Simba. So hopefully they'll stay with us while I read. Before I start Chocolate Fever, I thought I would give you a couple knock-knock jokes from this book, Knock-Knock Jokes for Kids. Here's the first one. Knock, knock. Billy Bob Joe Penny. Seriously, how many Billy Bob Joe Pennies do you know? Kind of better if someone says who's there, and isn't it? So let's try it again. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Weirdo.
Weirdo who?
Where do you think you're going, young man? Or young lady. Okay, let's try another one. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Avery.
Avery who?
A very nice person is knocking on the door. You should come and take a look.
Ha 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 ha.
Let's try another one. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Klaus.
Klaus who?
Close the window. It's cold in here. That's enough of that. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Simba. Anyway, today, Chapter 8 of Chocolate Fever, written by Robert Kimmel Smith. Mac. The truck thumped and rumbled along the superhighway, its powerful headlights cutting a yellow slice through the blackness. Are you all right up there, kid? The driver called. From the sleeping bunk set up high in the cab of the big diesel truck, Henry answered, Right, Mac, I'm okay. Okay, Henry thought bitterly. Sure I'm okay. I don't have a friend in the world. I look like some sort of sideshow freak. The police and doctors and my parents and heaven knows who else is after me, and I don't know where I'm going. If that's being okay, then I guess I'm okay. After he escaped the gang of boys, he had stood out on the highway for a long time and watched the day turn into dark. Hundreds of cars and trucks had swept by without stopping. But Mac had stopped and offered him a lift. That was hours ago, and they had come a long way. Henry didn't know how many miles they had traveled or where they were heading. And what's more, he did not care. So, boys and girls, before I keep reading, I just want to tell you, it is not okay to hitchhike or get into the trucks and cars of people who you don't know. Remember that. This book was written a long time ago when, I guess, hitchhiking was more acceptable. But these days, don't do it. Henry was sure that Mac hadn't seen his spots. It had probably been too dark to notice them. No one in his right mind would have anything to do with me, Henry thought. Not once they got a look at these stupid big brown spots. Even Mac, nice as he seemed, wouldn't have taken a chance if he had seen me clearly. Hop in, Mac had said. The weather's fine. A big grin crossing his friendly face. He was a huge man dressed in dirty oak coveralls. His truck was clean and warm, and Henry didn't hesitate. After sitting alongside Mac for an hour or so in the front seat, Henry had climbed up to the bunk and fallen quickly asleep. He didn't know how long he had slept, but he felt rested now. Mac turned the big truck off the highway and onto a service road. Slowly, he shifted down through the gears and, braking gently, brought the huge trailer to a stop. Hey, kid, he called down. Come on down here. Henry climbed down to sit beside Mac. Supper time, Mac said. Now, just as soon as I get the lights on in here. I like it dark, Henry said quickly. You what? I like it dark, Henry said as the lights came on. Henry blinked at the sudden brightness. I think he's seen me now, he thought. Mac reached down below his seat and brought up a big picnic basket. He placed it between them on the seat. Now let's just see what that wife of mine gave us for supper, he said. It's okay, Henry said. I'll get off here. Huh? I won't make any fuss, Henry said. I'll just go quietly. Thank you. Huh. You're a strange one, kid, Mac said. Now what are you talking about? Well, you must have seen all these big brown spots all over me by now. Mac nodded. Yeah, I see 'em. He began looking through his picnic basket. You like ham and cheese? I'm willing to go, Henry began. Maybe chicken salad. We got that too. And I do believe, oh my goodness, tuna fish salad also. Henry began again, if you don't want to have anything to do with me, I'll understand. I really will. Pardon me for a belly scratch. These cats are spoiled rotten second graders. What'll it be, kid? Mac asked. Tuna, chicken, ham, cheese? He was looking squarely into Henry's face, smiling ever so slightly. Tuna, I guess, Henry said after a moment, taking the sandwich Mac handed him. Oh, finally, we eat at last, Mac said. Henry gobbled the tuna fish sandwich in nothing flat, and then went on to eat ham and cheese, an apple, a piece of raisin cake, and half a thermos bottle of milk. There was chocolate cake too, but Henry declined it. Somehow, that chocolate cake didn't appeal to him anymore. Boys and girls, I had another thought. Just as you shouldn't accept rides from strangers, you definitely should not accept food from strangers. Like I said, this book was written a long time ago. In 1972. It's a long time ago. When they had finished eating, Mac settled back in his seat to take a rest. Mac, Henry said, isn't there something you want to ask me? Well, yeah, but I figure you're about to tell me what I want to know. Well, Henry began, I have this thing called chocolate fever. That's what these big brown spots are all over me. Chocolate. And nobody, especially a doctor named Fargo, knows what to do about it. So I'll probably have these spots on me for the rest of my life, and that's why you're running away? Mac said. Well, I have to run away, Henry said. I look terrible and ugly. I wouldn't say ugly, Mac said. Unique, maybe. What's that mean? Sort of special. But how can I live this way? I'm a freak, a chocolate freak. Easy now, Mac said. Calm down. People will be looking, staring right at me. How can I live with people staring at me? Mac chuckled softly. He looked away from Henry. How would you like it, Mac, if people stared at you? You know, kid, I've had some experience in that line myself, the big man said quietly. You mean people stare at you? Yeah, sometimes, Mac said. When you're African American, like I am, and most of the other people are white, it's bound to happen sometimes. Oh, gee, Mac, said Henry. I'm sorry about that. Well, it's nothing personal, kid. Besides, by the time I was your age, I'd kind of gotten over it. But you know, getting stared at and some other things got me thinking. If there's so many white people and so few black people, well, that makes me unique. You mean special? Exactly right. So all that staring and stuff, what it did made me proud. You know, proud of who I am. Proud of the color of my skin. Well, that's okay for you, said Henry, but being white with big brown chocolatey spots all over is pretty ugly. Mac put his hand to his mouth and coughed a little bit. For a moment, he thought he might be laughing. "Well, okay, youngster," he said. "Have it your own way. Just tell me, where exactly are you going? What do you figure on doing?"
"Well, I'm just running away, that's all, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I got to get away."
Mac thought about that for about a second and a half. "Just flat out running away, huh? Things get too much for you, so you just leave. Brilliant."
Well, I won't go back,"
Henry said.
"I just won't."
"Okay, then. You won't go back. But let me ask you something. You got a mom?
"Yeah,
Dad?
yeah,
Have they been good to you?
yeah, really good."
They don't spank you?
"No,
They don't make your life miserable?
no, of course not."
So they're good parents, good grown-ups to you.
"Yeah,
And you love them because they're so kind and good to you, right?
right."
Well, let me ask you this, Henry. How do you think they feel right now? Wondering where you could be. Wondering if you're all right. Are you alive? Are you dead? Yes, sir, you sure are treating them pretty mean, Henry. Why, it wouldn't surprise me if your mom was crying her heart out right now. Just sick to death with worry about you.
But Mac."
Now you hush until I'm finished with what I have to say. A good child respects his parents. A good child doesn't cause his parents heartache or grief or worry. No, sir. Henry didn't try to say anything, but he was listening very carefully. Now here's my plan, kid. First thing we do is drive down this road till we get to a phone. Then we call your folks so they can stop worrying. This was written before there were cell phones.
"I'm not going back to that hospital,"
Henry said firmly. We'll tell that to your folks too. Maybe there's someplace else you can go. Some other doctor who can take care of you.
"Well, I like that idea."
And who knows? Maybe this chocolate fever of yours will just go away. Maybe you'll just wake up tomorrow and it'll all be cured.
"Well, I hope so," said Henry, "but I don't think so."
Anyway, first thing we do is call your folks, okay? Henry smiled. There was something about the way Mac spoke that made him feel better. How about it? Mac asked. Should we go find that telephone?
"Yeah, what are we waiting for?"
Henry said. Wow, a lot of lessons in that chapter. Second graders? It's interesting to think about what a person does when they don't think about all the people in their lives. And even though Henry had it pretty bad in his mind, it was hard for him to think about his grown-ups. And even though I don't think he should have gotten in the truck with Mac, I'm glad Mac was there for him to help him understand that even when things are bad for you, you have to think about the people around you too and how it might affect them. I love morals and messages and stories. Don't you? Don't you? Yeah. All right, my dears. I will see you tomorrow for chapter 9. Bye.